Welcome to the Healthy Food Guide, the new series that brings you the latest solid scientific evidence on all things food.
Research from earlier decades is now being questioned very strongly.
There are nutrition-charged, easy recipes by culinary expert Sam Campbell.
Spicy.
You won't want to miss.
A little bit like me, right?
And star nutritionist Claire Turnbull is challenging a family to get real by transforming their health in just 5 months. So let's get into it. This time on the Healthy Food Guide. All you need to know about boosting your brain with food. I get the latest from the experts.
The Western-style diet increases our likelihood of getting depression by about 20 to 30%.
Claire goes hardcore.
Tamati, are you dying a little bit there?
Yeah. And can Claire solve the puzzle of Jonny's diabetes diagnosis?
Snap.
Executive Chef Sam
Really bringing that Mediterranean vibe.
joins Claire in the kitchen for a Mexican black bean boost for your brain power.
Because I'm here to find out what is the link between food and brain health. Neurological disorders will be a part of life for 1 in 5 Kiwis, according to Brain Research NZ, and that rate is expected to increase in the future. So the question is, can I eat my way to better brain health?
Because researchers are now investigating if nutrition influences not just mood, but serious mental health issues like bipolar, OCD, and types of dementia.
My own grandmother struggled for years with Alzheimer's, and I can't help but wonder, will the food that I eat now help me avoid inheriting it?
So I spoke to nutrition scientist Dr. Claire Wall.
Our brain is so active. It's one of the most active organs in our body. There's incredible microcirculation around all our brain cells, so it needs the right kind of nutrients, it needs a lot of oxygen, and it needs, therefore, a really good blood supply.
Most of us know that hardening arteries are a risk to our heart, but did you know this can also happen to the blood vessels in our brains?
In neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's, plaque can build up around the brain cells, and also blood vessels carrying nutrients and oxygen to the brain cells can also get plaque deposits, and that can reduce blood flow and therefore they die.
So in a healthy brain, the brain cells or the neurons are constantly firing signals between each other and the rest of the body. In neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, the plaques that form in between the neurons then prevent them from firing and being able to function properly. Recent research has shown that a moderate consumption of unsaturated plant fats in midlife can halve the risk of developing dementia.
That's huge.
And it's enough to convert me overnight to only cooking with plant fats like olive and canola oil. But it also has me wondering, what role do less healthy fats and sugars play in the brain debate?
The Western-style diet, which is sort of characterised by intakes of refined carbohydrates, lots of sugars, lots of processed foods, increase our likelihood of getting depression. In fact, some research shows by about 20 to 30%. Whereas diets such as the Mediterranean diet have been shown in research to be protective of depression.
The Mediterranean way of eating is often cited as being one of the healthiest in the world. So what is it exactly? Well, lots of leafy greens like silver beet, whole grains, nuts and legumes, as well as fish, and only small amounts of meat and alcohol.
A diet that's regularly missing this wide range of foods can affect your brain in another way too.
A lot of brain research today is focused on inflammation, and meta-inflammation is a chronic low-grade inflammation that occurs throughout your body, and continuous exposure to poor quality diets and also being overweight can cause you to have this chronic inflammation, which over time can start to affect your brain and other organs in your body.
If inflammation is the pathway to chronic disease and brain disorders, what foods are going to stop me from taking that track in the first place?
I've been tracking a few of them, like broccoli and silver beet, from the growers to the supermarket. But what are some others? I'm finding out later.
I'm Claire Turnbull, and this is the Parkinson family from West Auckland.
They might seem pretty healthy, but like many typical families, they've got a lot going on.
Dad Jonny's battle with diabetes is his biggest health crisis. Mum Nikki wants a beach babe body. Nikki's brother Tamati is turning into a teenage couch potato. And kids Indy, Lincoln and French exchange student Jules are learning healthy habits to set them up for life. Last week, the Parkinsons found making healthy happen takes planning. So have they?
The food has been pretty good. It's been quite easy. It just really takes a lot of planning. At the start of the week, I just went through, decided what dinners we're going to have. I knew exactly what I needed and I just got it.
It seems like a good start, but there are so many health issues to address with these guys, and I've only got 4 months left to do it.
This week, I'm going to be working on improving Jonny's diabetes and overall health. But right now, I've got some exercise shock therapy to deliver. Hey, guys!
Hey!
Where are you off to?
Going for a walk, walking the dog.
Awesome. Hey, listen, walking is a really, really good thing to do for your baseline fitness. But if you want to get really fit, we're going to have to make a wider variety of exercise part of your daily plan. So we need to see how unfit you really are. Right, guys? Are you ready?
So ready.
We're going to do 5 exercises at absolute maximum capacity. And it's going to be a little competition.
I'm going to waste time at tea. It's going down.
3, 2, 1, squats, go. 20 seconds. How are your legs, Jonny?
Pretty sore.
You wait. Stop. Push-ups. Go.
Don't really work out at all.
Tamati, are you dying a little bit there?
Yeah.
What did you get?
17.
Dearie me. Nikki. Jonny, keep your feet together.
I felt sorry for Jonny. He's never been really fit.
Come on.
I'm looking forward to Jonny getting better.
Jonny, how about you?
0.
It shouldn't be too hard for him. From 0 sit-ups to 1, that's like 100%.
So you ready for the next exercise?
No.
Go. Tamati, no more? Stop. Jules, the clear winner, 196. Jules was absolutely brilliant, and he set a really high benchmark for the rest of the family to follow. Nikki, you came second. Second. 126. Tamati, third, 105. Jonny, 90. 3 times a week. Repeat this exercise, and then I've got to come back and see how much you've improved.
And just when they thought it was over, I'm introducing them to trainer A for personalised workouts.
Working, my victims.
I thought we were going to go home and lay on the floor or something.
This week, I'm asking, how do I eat for better brain health and power? And Healthy Food Guide expert Nikki Bazant has some answers.
The brain is actually one of the greediest parts of our body. Our brain accounts for about 2% of our body weight, but actually consumes about 20% of the kilojoules that we eat. So there's lots of foods that can feed our brains. One really important group is low GI carbohydrates. Our brains run on glucose from carbohydrates, but they don't store that the way that our muscles do, so they need a constant supply. Another important food group is protein, which makes essential amino acids, and we need vitamins and minerals, which act as antioxidants to protect our brains.
Feeding our brains with the right food might help us to not only function better, but also boost a good mood. So what is a major brain power food source that many Kiwis are missing out on?
Simple answer, fish.
Hi Carly, how are you? I'm great, thank you. You having any luck?
No, none.
What is it about fish that is so great for our brain?
It's a good source of protein, great source of the essential fatty acids, and oily fish is a really good source of the omega-3. You can also get them from plant sources, but the problem is that they need to be converted into the fatty acids that are good for our brain health, and fish contains those.
So fish is always best.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty keen on fishing, but you can never guarantee a bite, so it's lucky I have a backup plan.
Sometimes we don't always have access or the finances to have fresh fish. Is tinned okay?
Yeah, so tinned sources of oily fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines are really good sources of omega-3 fatty acids, and obviously very accessible, affordable, all year round.
But Claire's also making me a salad using other foods that can boost my brain power.
Let's start with some greenery, which is a good source of folate, which is really important for the production of cells and keeping our cells healthy. And we've also got some really good antioxidant vitamins in here. These lovely crunchy green beans is an electrolyte, which means good blood flow to the brain. And avocado is rich in monounsaturated fatty acids, keeping our blood vessels healthy. It's a really good source of vitamin E, important for anti-inflammatory purposes. Walnuts are a really good source of omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin E, and also a good source of zinc, which is great for mood. So we recommend that people eat a handful of unsalted and oiled nuts a day. Pulses and legumes, the sort of carbohydrate that's in them doesn't increase our blood glucose levels too much. And we might want some grainy style bread. These have got flaxseed in them, but obviously we also want to stay well hydrated, which is really, really important as well for our brain.
Eating for brain health really does seem to reinforce the old saying, you are what you eat. It can make you feel better, think better, and keep your mind healthy for longer. So for me, it's a no-brainer. And Chef Sam is drawing inspiration from the Mediterranean with his chicken, tomato and olive casserole, teamed with low GI carbs that feed your brain and your appetite.
This is a beautiful dish. I've been whipping it up around the world for many, many years. Super simple, Mediterranean flavours. It is a good one and super quick to make. Today I'm pairing the dish with sorghum, which is an ancient grain. A little bit different, chewy and nutty. You could pair it with soft polenta, quinoa or brown rice. And it does take a little long to cook, so I'm going to get it on now.
It's important to play around with pairing different grains to a dish. Each will have unique benefits and bring something different, which you'll discover with a little creativity.
Sorghum is even higher in protein and has got double the amount of fibre of brown rice.
Wow. We need 1.5 cups.
The other thing about sorghum is it's a naturally gluten-free grain, so it means it's excellent for people with celiac disease.
And it's really good for the planet because it doesn't require a lot of water to grow. Sorghum into the pot. And 4.5 cups of boiling water and straight in. It just speeds up the process.
So will that absorb all that water?
Sure does. Right, let's crack on with the veg prep.
Onion, celery and garlic are great base flavours for many casseroles, but you can easily add in your own veggie favourites to give your twist on this dish.
I'm going to take care of the garlic and onion. You're on celery. Slice the onion across the dial. It's the safer way to do it.
Rotating the onion as you chop lessens the chances of your fingertips becoming part of the dish.
So how much garlic?
I'm going to do 4 cloves. Smash it just like that to break the skin.
What kind of garlic do you use? Does it matter?
Always New Zealand grown if you can. New Zealand garlic's really, really sweet and strong, so you don't actually need a lot of it. But, you know, depends on the time of year and what's affordable. Right, chicken next. I'm using chicken thigh today. Free-range SPCA tick of approval, so it's a happy, healthy chicken. It's got a really great flavour and it stands up to those robust elements in the dish.
And I love it on the barbecue. It's a great way to get some protein.
This is really lean as well. It stands up to that length of cooking which casserole braise requires. So I'm just going to cut this into 2-inch dice. I'm just going to saute the chicken, which is caramelizing, browning. It gives it a little bit more flavour. A nice big spray. So straight in, just takes a few minutes. We'll take it out and then saute the veg. Great, it's nice and brown. And just tip that out. And with the onion, you're gonna grab your celery.
Bacon too?
This is that lean eye bacon. At Healthy Food Guide, we only use a little bit of bacon because it adds a lot of flavour.
So you cook everything in the same pot?
Yeah, that way you keep all the juices together. All right, time for the garlic. Time for the wine. White wine and chicken, kind of marriage in heaven. You want to snip a little bit of rosemary. I like cooking with rosemary, particularly slow cooked meals, and this with chicken is perfect. I'm gonna gently stir it and mix it into the base so it really infuses. I'm gonna finish with the last 2 big flavors, tomato and olive. I'm gonna drain these. I'm gonna have about 1/3 of a cup.
It's really important when people are buying tomatoes to make sure that you look at the label, because even plain tinned tomatoes can have added salt, and it won't be iodized salt. And it's iodine that a lot of people are short on.
There's no added salt in these ones though, and they'll go perfectly with the olives I've chosen.
I'm gonna cut these olives in half. Pitted and convenient, and they're from Greece, so they're really, really authentic for the dish. You can also tear them if you don't wanna cut them. It's more rustic and it's really bringing that Mediterranean vibe. Straight in. Just adding some water to keep it nice and juicy. Chicken and cracked pepper. Check these colours out.
Wow.
Mediterranean right there.
That would be such an easy thing to make in bulk as well.
That's going to reduce and it'll be ready to go in about 10 minutes. Right, let's have a little taste. Needs a good whack of pepper. And green beans at the end. I'm going to throw them in for a few minutes to really keep them nice and crunchy. I'm going to add a little bit extra parsley to help boost that flavour. Boom. Sorghum. You know, this dish could really be expanded sort of from 2 to 200 people. It's so easy to feed a group.
This tasty chicken, tomato and olive casserole is a hearty dinner party dish, and the leftovers make a great pasta sauce or pie. Cooking the sorghum in advance will make the rest of this recipe come together pretty quickly. Just saute the chicken until golden and remove it from the pan. In the same pan, gradually add the rest of the ingredients, then lastly the lightly cooked chicken. Simmer for 10 minutes, season and serve. This is a casserole to get you going, with the protein hit of chicken and the double protein whammy from sorghum rather than rice. This naturally gluten-free dish is an ideal comfort meal.
Now I'm on my way to help Jonny get his health on track.
His diabetes is raising a lot of questions.
Yeah, can I get a large trim mochaccino?
With an extra shot?
Snap.
Listen, there is a lot we need to talk about.
Okay. I'll still have that coffee, thank you.
Right then, do you feel like you rely on coffee to function?
A lot.
Yeah. The problem is, if you have a coffee at 7 o'clock in the morning, at 7 o'clock at night, a quarter of that caffeine is still in your system.
I struggle to get to sleep, feel tired when I get up. Toss and turn, it just gets worse and worse.
Yeah, you're creating a vicious cycle for yourself.
But he's also eating other problematic foods.
You're having a lot of highly processed carbohydrate, which is just not helping the management of your diabetes. Now I've got your blood results back, and one thing that was really shocking was your vitamin D level. Your levels are 25, and normal is between 50 and 150.
Okay.
Jonny has to get outside more, exposing his skin to the sun so his body can make vitamin D.
So how much do you actually know about diabetes?
I did attend a course about diabetes. I know a little bit.
It doesn't help that Jonny doesn't fit the common type 2 diabetes profile of being overweight.
So it's time to actually go back to the specialist and get a review.
It's quite confusing about what I can and can't eat, especially when you go out.
So I think let's use this cafe as an example and see what you can actually choose.
Okay. I think it's a big start for a big change for me. My ultimate goal is all about conquering my diabetes.
Salad's going to be one of your best options. Then the second thing would be probably a frittata. Often a frittata will come with salad, so you're going to get more vegetables in there.
Yep.
If it comes to the menu, change your bread from a ciabatta to a whole grain.
Right.
So you've got more fibre.
Okay.
As well as cutting out processed food, which is often high in sugar and fat, Jonny needs to cut down on coffee, increase his veggies, double his vitamin D levels, and get his diabetes blood readings down. But that's not all. Jonny's a shell of his former self after losing 10 kilos in the last 8 years. And that's unusual. Something isn't adding up with his diabetes diagnosis. So what's really going on?
This week we're asking, how can we boost our brains with food? So Chef Sam and Nutritionist Claire have a recipe using black beans, a legume that feeds our hungry brains with low GI carbs.
So we're going to start with the beef by mincing it. In the restaurants, we always mince our own meat because it basically allows us to be more creative.
And having a mincer at home means you can use leaner cuts of meat, and you can mince veggies for things like ragouts as well.
We're going to move on to sautéing the zucchini, onion and carrots. Do you want to pass me the cooking spray? This is great because it sprays nice and evenly.
The good thing is it actually allows you to control the amount of fat that you're having.
It does.
Garlic next.
Look how nice and fresh that is. Love it when you buy the purple stuff.
Well, you can't beat New Zealand garlic.
And it just means you use less because it's so strong. So I'm just going to finely grate it. Straight in there. So we're going to add the Mexican spice, which is going to give it a nice warm chili hit. And we're going to save a little bit for later. And now we're going to brown the meat nice and hot. Beautiful. Tomato paste.
Tomato paste is such a great flavour base for a dish, isn't it?
Yeah, and the quality is crucial to the final result. 2 tablespoons.
So you would never add tomato paste at the end to a dish?
No, always at the start. It's deepening that flavour. Next up is the cherry tomatoes.
Because they've got no soluble sugar in these ones, you can add as many cans as you like.
We're using black beans.
I use a lot of black beans. I use them in salads, and I recently made some fudge with them.
I've heard you can actually make your own brownie.
You can.
2 cans of these, and that's basically 50-50 meat to vegetables in this dish. Give those a really good rinse.
From a nutritional point of view, great way to get fibre, they're low glycemic index, they are consistently high quality. Every can is always good.
Right, so I'm gonna let that simmer away for 20 minutes. The other component of this dish is avocado salsa. It's cooling and creamy and works great with all the spices. 1 whole lemon juice in there, bit of that leftover Mexican spice. And the coriander, just gonna gently warm the tortillas just to soften them. So just about a minute or less to heat through, so that's done. It's nice and hot. Look at that, plate you up. On with the salsa, fresh burrito. Beans are great, meat is nicely cooked, and the avocado goes really well with all the Mexican spices.
It really does. A simple thing that everyone can do to keep their brains working well is eat more fish. So a simple swap would be taking something like beans on toast and swapping it for sardines on toast.
Yeah, and whatever your family favourite meal is, you can swap it out from a beef pie to a fish pie.
Another trick when you get brain fade at work is not to resort to more coffees.
Because your brain is 80% water, one of the best things you can do is keep hydrated, so get yourself a couple of glasses of water. You'll feel so much better.
It's 6 weeks into my plan for eating better. So how are the Parkinsons really going with planning healthier evening meals?
What do you want to cook on Tuesday?
Fish?
Planning is getting easier because getting familiar with the things that we like. Monday, chicken enchiladas. Tuesday, tandoori chicken wraps. And so you sort of like doing a little bit of a repeat.
Yum, that sounds good.
These guys are making some really significant changes, not only to their taste buds, but to their garden too. And since their fitness regime is underway, I reckon a friend of mine who's well known for keeping in shape might know a great way to keep their fitness on track. It's Art Green.
G'day guys.
Oh, hello.
I've heard through the grapevine that you're on a bit of a health journey. So I've got with me some Fitbits, fitness and activity trackers.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think they help you track your progress. Are you guys competitive at all?
Yeah, we're quite competitive.
Yeah. So you can see how many steps each of you will be doing. So you can compete against everyone. It's pretty cool.
I think we all know who's going to win that. Jules.
Yeah. That's very likely.
I'm counting on some healthy competition to up the fitness stakes. And they do have personalised workouts now. But I suspect getting them fit is going to be an uphill battle.
Next week on the Healthy Food Guide.
If we've taken multiple rounds of antibiotics, this can wipe out our gut bacteria.
All you need to know about foods that optimise your gut health.
After I started fermenting foods, sugar cravings disappeared.
Really?
For more delicious recipes and the latest expert advice, pick up this month's Healthy Food Guide magazine.